Welcome to Fun Guy's Kitchen. I'm Funguy The Entertainer, and today we're going to cook chuck eye steaks. We're going to do it in a pan. These are really actually good on a grill, but it is so windy out there, I just couldn't do it on the grill. So I'll show you how to do this in a pan. Of course, these eye steaks came from the Piggly Wiggly. Everybody knows Steinberg's Piggly Wiggly is our meat sponsor. We are looking, of course, for a cookware sponsor, and even a cutlery sponsor would be really nice. I'm also going to do corn on the cob, and I'm going to do a teriyaki rice noodle to go with the meat. This is going to be a really nice meal. The part of the show, of course, is the meat, but you're going to see the other stuff cooking because this steak will cook very, very quickly. These are not very big; they're smaller steaks. As a result, and you want to cook these quickly and keep them no more than medium. Medium is the absolute max you want to do on these, or they're going to get really, really tough. These are called the poor man's ribeye. Big, huge difference. These are on sale for $7 a pound. Ribeyes are like $12 a pound, so about half the price of a ribeye. So these will be really nice. So the first thing you want to do is you want a half a stick of butter. Just stick it right in the pan. Turn your pan on medium. And we're going to add some garlic. I would say probably a tablespoon of garlic, which I just squirted in there. If you're using fresh garlic, probably 3-4 cloves. Then, of course, a half an onion. Now, if you've been watching the show, you know I've got this really cool onion dicer. So all we have to do is cut off the side stems, cut this in half. Oops, top came right off there. Put each one in here. 1, 2. Take the lid off. Drop these in the pan. While this is cooking, it's not going to take long for this to cook. Probably 3 minutes. You don't need a timer for this because this is going to be pretty much by eye. Make sure you have a spoon or a spatula to stir. Now, while that's doing that, we're going to open up these steaks. By the way, remember, whenever you're cooking steaks or roasts in anything but a slow cooker or a pressure cooker, take them out of the refrigerator a minimum of an hour and up to 2 hours. I did these at an hour and a half because they're smaller. This will help the inside temperature of the meat to be a little bit warmer so you don't have to cook it as much, which will make it tough, remember? So let me throw this away real quick. So all we have to do is sprinkle salt and pepper on each side. Not hard. You do not need to use the coarse on this, but I prefer the coarse. So I'm going to put it on here. So if all you have is the finer cut, that's fine. Now, I have a really cool device that I like to use, which helps make steaks and stuff even more tender. This is a tenderizer. It also pushes the spices into the meat. It's not hard. Just do this. Some people use the old tenderizing hammers. That will work also, but this is really a cool invention because it pushes the seasoning into the meat, which is really awesome. Okay, we're going to give this a stir here. It's going to do a couple different things. We don't want to overcook this. This will end up cooking more, but you want it to not already be caramelized because you're going to cook the meat right on top of this to help absorb the flavors. Okay, so now we're going to do the back side. There's salt and the pepper, and of course we'll do the same thing with the tenderizer. Then we'll flip this one over so that we can do the back side of the big one here. Alright, looks like this is going to be ready pretty fast. As a matter of fact, it is. So let me get this in here. We're going to drop these first 2 steaks right in here while we season the third. We're also going to kick up the heat to medium-high. You want to cook these steaks very quickly because you want the outside to be cooked and the inside not to be overcooked. Okay, let's turn this one over real quick. Doesn't matter if you put the pepper on before the salt. Everybody just says salt and pepper, so most people just do salt first. But it does not matter. Okay. We'll jam this one in here. Let's do this side this way. And then we'll get rid of this stuff out of the way. Okay, pretty simple. Now, you can use tongs, you can use a meat fork, you can use a spatula, it does not matter. I'm going to use a spatula because I chose a non-stick pan, that's what I had available. If I ever get lucky and get that cast iron cookware company to sponsor the show, then I don't have to worry about plastic spatulas. I can use metal utensils on it. I'm really looking forward to it because this would have worked even better in a cast iron pan. Basically what we're doing is we are cooking the outside to seal in the juices and leaving the inside medium rare to medium at the most. My wife likes the medium, so we'll give her the smaller piece. That way it stays, you know, a little bit less well done. Okay. What else was going on here while this is going here? Oh, I didn't turn on the noodles. Should get that going because the noodles only take like 8 minutes. Okay. There we go. Pretty simple. Now, one of the things that one of my friends had mentioned is they say that I'm a lot of fun, but I'm so focused on the cooking I forget to do fun things on the show. I'm going to start doing that in the near future. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do yet, but I will come up with some fun, interesting things to do besides the giveaways. The giveaways are always nice, but it's not all that entertaining except when you win. How cool is that? Or, of course, you win the donations that we do to a couple of charities around here for Dinner for Two and guest appearance on the show. That's also fun. I've got a couple people that are getting ready to, that have already won and or purchased these that are going to be doing this during the summer. So that'll be nice. All right, now if you look really close, I don't know if you can see this in the pictures, that's the only problem. Right here you can see the meat is starting to cook on the outside edges. That's exactly what you want. We're probably going to have to go about 2 more minutes on this side, then we'll turn it and we'll go probably 4 to 5 minutes on the other side, and it's going to be done that fast, okay? The water's starting to boil on the corn of the cob, so we'll take off the last couple pieces of husk, which I probably should have done before I started the show, and we'll toss that in there. Now, on our other show, the one I do with Steve in Las Vegas called What Happened to the World Today, we just had our first 500 download podcast for one of our shows. That is a record. We've been averaging between 300 and 400 podcast downloads per show, which is really cool. We're starting to really build up some solid listeners. I would like to see a little bit more here on this show here. I am considering doing a podcast out of this show. I was told by some people that they don't necessarily need to see what I'm doing. They can listen to it while they're doing stuff and they'll remember what I did, so that when they're cooking it at home, since they've already heard it, they know what part of the video to go to and they don't have to sit and watch the whole video. So I'm considering doing that also. If you have a preference, please don't hesitate to make a comment and say, hey, try this. You know, not just, you know, things for me to cook, ideas for the show. We are, you know, I'm an entertainer. Granted, I'm also kind of a nerd, so I'm one of those people that does understand a lot of this stuff, but I don't know everything. So if there's an idea that you have, please let me know. Look at that. That is perfect. Let me flip this one over here. It's okay if some of the onions come on top. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, these look so good. I cannot wait to taste this tonight. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, I gotta stir the pasta dish. Once that comes up to a boil, we turn this timer on for 7 minutes, and that's going to work out good for everything, because everything will be done pretty much all at the same time, which is exactly what you want to try to do. So, what else was there? Anything interesting going on? A lot of stuff. We've got concerts coming up for the Tbls company. I'm going to do one of the shows at one of the concerts again, like I did with the Zach Brown concert, so you can look forward to that. I actually had a few people from other parts of the country that had suggested that if I want to go on vacation in their area, they would put me up in their house. I could do a show at their house and all that kind of stuff. Very intriguing idea. Needless to say, in the summer I can't do that. So if this pans out, you might see me going elsewhere. All right, this is at that boiling stage. So we'll set the timer for 7 minutes. There we go. And the cool thing is the water on the corn is about ready. It's just at that boil thing. So 7 minutes on the 5 minutes is all you really need, but this isn't quite boiling. But by the time we get to that point, it should be. I got to bring the temperature down on the rice down to simmer. There we go, because you don't want to burn it. Let that simmer down. I forgot to look. Does this one need to be covered? It does not. Perfect. Some of the dishes need to be covered. I love these North side dishes. This is the Asian side teriyaki noodles. They are so really good. All right. We're looking for a temperature about 135 before we stop cooking these, because it'll warm up to 140, 145. Just like all steaks and roast, they continue cooking for another 5 minutes or so after you remove them from the heat. So let's see how we're doing here. And remember, you got to go on an angle. If you go too far, look at that. We're there already. This one's not quite there. Of course, that's the last one I put in, so. And that one's there. Okay, so this is really good. And we want this one to be a little bit more cooked anyway. So we're gonna turn the heat off and just let this sit. I'm gonna leave it on the burner so, you know, even though the gas is off, obviously this is hot. So it'll keep the food warm while everything else cooks. So, as you can see when you look at the show time, this took less than 10 minutes. That is really awesome. Less than 10 minutes and you have a delicious dinner, okay? There's another way you could do this. I forget the chef that made it famous. When you cook steaks in butter, if you put it on high heat, and I mean high, almost wok high, and you keep flipping the meat back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you can build a really cool crust on the outside of the meat. But since I put all the onions and garlic in here also for the extra flavor, you don't get the crust because the onions and the garlic add too much moisture, and with moisture you don't get that crust, okay? But I opted for the flavor and soft bite of the meat versus the tough outside, soft interior. This is going to eat more like an actual ribeye steak would. Very tender and juicy. Okay, look at that. That's looking really good. And we'll stir this. One of these things about these dishes, I should have used a smaller pot. This is a medium pot. A smaller pot would have made it so it wasn't quite so thin. The problem is the smaller pot was used elsewhere and it's in the dishwasher, so it wasn't available. Granted, I probably could have washed it before I did the show, but that's just the way it goes. So what I'm going to do is turn this one more time. The advantage to this is the middle of the meat will get a little bit more cooked, which is perfect. All right, so that's all there is to it. Oh yeah, that tastes really good. Needless to say, once I plate the food, I'll take pictures and you'll see what it all looks like for the dinner. So I hope you enjoyed another really quick show for a really good meal. What we are talking about here is right around $6 a person for a meal, because we're feeding 3 people. $6 a person for a steak dinner. Can you go wrong with that? I don't think so. All right. Thanks for watching my show. Remember, please like, subscribe, and share. It's very important to share this show. And if you do think podcasts would be something you're interested in, please comment, say, hey, yeah, try a podcast. We'll listen to that. And of course, listen to What Happens in the World Today, which you can get to under the Show More tab, which is, of course, also where the recipe is for this meal. All right? Thank you for watching the show. I hope you had a great time. And, let's see, this is going to come out Memorial Day weekend. So, happy Memorial Day, and thanks for watching the show. I'm Funguy The Entertainer, cooking for you.